The clock on the wall showed 11:30 p.m. when Ty wiped the grease from his hands. The small repair shop at the edge of New Seoul Colony was quiet except for the hum of his tools. Rain tapped on the metal roof as he looked at the broken engine part on his workbench. One more hour, he told himself. Then sleep. Ty was the best mechanic in the colony. People said he could fix anything with moving parts, but being the best didn't mean being rich. The colony was small, and work was slow. He picked up his wrench and bent over the engine again. That's when he heard it. A sound like thunder, but sharper. Then a crash that shook the whole building. Ty dropped his tool and ran to the door. The rain was coming down hard now. He grabbed his flashlight and stepped outside. "Hello," he called. "Anyone there?" His light beam cut through the darkness and rain. At first, he saw nothing unusual. Then he moved the light to the left and froze. There, in the mud beside his shop, lay something massive. Something alive. "What in the world?" Ta whispered, moving closer. It looked like a bison from the old Earth pictures, but wrong in every way. It was huge, 3 times bigger than any Earth animal. It had 6 legs instead of 4. Its fur was thick and dark, with a strange purple tint. 2 sets of horns curved from its massive head. But what made Ta step back was not the size or the extra legs. It was the things covering the creature's body. Thousands, no, millions of small round objects clung to its skin. They looked like barnacles, like the ones that grow on ships in Earth's oceans, but these pulsed with a soft blue light. The creature's eyes opened. They were large and dark, full of pain, but also something else, intelligence. Ta had seen many aliens since humans started traveling to the stars. Most were humanoid. Some were insect-like. A few were just clouds of gas. But he had never seen anything like this. The creature tried to stand, but fell back with a groan that sounded almost like words. "Hey, take it easy," Ta said, moving closer. "You're hurt." The beast's eyes focused on him. It made another sound, and this time Ty was sure it was trying to speak. One of the barnacles near the creature's head glowed brighter than the others. A mechanical voice came from it, broken and static-filled. "Help, parasites, draining." Ty understood then. The barnacles weren't part of the creature. They were hurting it. "You want me to help remove these things?" he asked. The creature's eyes blinked once, slowly. Yes. Ta looked at his small shop, then at the massive alien. It would never fit through the door. "Wait here," he said. He ran back to his shop and grabbed his heavy-duty moving equipment, the anti-grav sled he used for moving large ship engines. It wasn't meant for living cargo, but it would have to do. The rain soaked his clothes as he worked, setting up the sled next to the creature. With the anti-grav activated, he could slide the platform under the alien's massive body. This might feel strange, Ta warned as he activated the lift controls. The creature rose slightly off the ground. Ta guided the sled toward his workshop's side door, the larger one used for big deliveries. It was going to be tight. With careful movements, he guided the massive beast into his shop. The lights inside revealed more details. The barnacles covered almost every inch of the alien's body. Some were small as coins. Others were as big as Ta's fist. All of them pulsed with that eerie blue light. Ta closed the door against the rain and stood looking at his new patient. "I'm Ta," he said, meeting the intelligent eyes. "I'm a mechanic, not a doctor, but I'll try to help you." The translator barnacle glowed again. "Da," said the mechanical voice. "My name is Da." The workshop lights buzzed softly as Ty circled the huge creature. Day's breathing was heavy and labored. Up close, the barnacles looked even worse. They pulsed in a pattern, like they were talking to each other. "How did this happen?" Ty asked, reaching out but not touching the barnacles yet. The translator glowed. "Attack, trade route, parasite bombs." The voice was still broken, but clearer now that they were inside. Ta grabbed a stool and sat down near Da's massive head. I need to understand better. These translator things aren't working well. Dad's large eye blinked. One of his 6 legs moved, pointing to a spot near his neck. There, half hidden by purple fur, was a small metal device. Is that a better translator? Ty asked. Yes. Damaged. Fix. Ty smiled. Fixing things was what he did best. He picked up his tools and moved closer. The device was about the size of his palm, with tiny wires and circuits visible through a cracked casing. This I can help with, he said. While the rain drummed on the roof, Ta carefully repaired the translator. His fingers moved with the skill of years fixing delicate machinery. 20 minutes later, he closed the casing and pressed a small button on the side. The device hummed to life, lights blinking across its surface. Testing, testing, said a new voice, smooth and deep. Translation systems online. Thank you, human. Ta sat back. That's better. Now, who are you, and what happened? I am Da, a trade representative of the mock species. We are peaceful traders who travel the stars bringing goods between worlds. And these barnacle things. They are parasites, but not natural ones. My ship was attacked 3 days ago by raiders. They fired parasite bombs at us. The parasites attach to living tissue and slowly drain life energy. Ta frowned. Why didn't you go to a doctor? A hospital. Da's massive body shifted painfully. I tried. The Colony Medical Center couldn't help. Their tools couldn't remove the parasites without causing more damage. They spread too fast. So why come to me? I fix machines, not aliens. I was not heading to you specifically. My ship's emergency systems were failing. I barely managed to land near your building. But perhaps it was fate. Da's eyes studied Ta closely. You are a mechanic. You understand how things connect and disconnect. Maybe you can see what the doctors could not. Ta stood up and walked around Da again, looking at the barnacles. He picked up a magnifying glass from his workbench and leaned in for a closer look at one of the larger parasites. They do look a bit like the locking clamps on space station docking bays, he muttered. The way they attach has a pattern. Every doctor who tried to remove them caused pain and damage, Dad explained. They grip tighter when pulled directly. Ta nodded slowly, like a Chinese finger trap. The more you pull, the tighter it gets. What is a Chinese finger trap? An old Earth toy. The trick is that you need to push in to get free, not pull out. Ta was walking back to his tool shelf. Maybe that's the approach we need. He returned with several tools and a small scanner he used for finding hidden bolts in machinery. I'm going to try something, he said. It might not work, but I think I see how these things are attached. They're not just sticking to you randomly. They have a specific grip pattern. Da's massive head nodded. I trust you, human mechanic. My people have a saying, new eyes see old problems in new ways. Ta smiled as he calibrated his tools. We humans have a similar saying. Sometimes you need an outside perspective. He picked up a small tool that vibrated at different frequencies, one he used for loosening rusted parts. Let's start with one and see what happens, Ta said. This might hurt a bit. Pain is temporary, Da replied. These parasites are killing me slowly. Please proceed. Taking a deep breath, Ta moved in closer, ready to attempt what alien doctors had failed to do. Ta held the vibration tool close to one of the larger barnacles on Da's side. The blue glow pulsed faster, as if the parasite knew what was coming. Hold still, Ta said. I'm going to try something. He adjusted the tool to a low frequency and touched it gently to the edge of the barnacle. Nothing happened. He increased the frequency slowly, watching carefully. When he reached setting 7, the barnacle shuddered. At setting 9, its glow flickered. At setting 12, the edges of the parasite began to loosen. I think I found it, Ta whispered. He kept the tool steady at that frequency. Slowly, the barnacle's grip weakened. Instead of pulling it off, Ta pressed down slightly while vibrating the edges. The parasite released with a soft pop and fell into the metal tray he had placed below. Day let out a sound between a moan and a sigh. "It didn't hurt," he said, surprise in his voice. "All the doctors pulled and cut. You just convinced it to let go." Ty smiled, examining the removed parasite in the tray. Its blue glow was fading already. "That's because they were thinking like doctors. I'm thinking like a mechanic. These things attach like locking clamps, not like living things that grow roots. They have a release mechanism." He picked up a larger vibration tool. "Now I need to make more of these set to the right frequency. With the right tools, we can remove many at once." For the next hour, Ty worked at his bench, modifying 6 vibration tools to the exact frequency needed. He mounted them on a frame that could cover a larger area of Daz's body at once. "This will be faster," he explained as he returned to Da. "We have thousands to remove." "Millions," Da corrected. "And time is important. Each one drains a little life energy." Ta nodded and got to work. The new tool worked even better than he hoped. Barnacles fell away in groups of 6 or 7 with each application. They dropped into collection bins that Ta had placed around Daz's massive body. As he worked, Da told him about the mock people. "We have traveled the stars for 5,000 years, Da said. "We were space explorers when humans were still building pyramids." "What's your homeworld like?" Ty asked, moving his tool to a new patch of parasites. "Beautiful. 3 suns and 7 moons. The grass plains stretch for thousands of miles. My people run free there." Ty worked steadily, moving from one section to another. Each time a group of barnacles fell away, the skin beneath looked healthier. The purple tint of Daz's fur began to show more clearly. "Who attacked you?" Ty asked after a while. Da was silent for a moment. "We call them the Vray. They are new to space travel, only a few hundred years. But they are aggressive. They want what others have instead of trading fairly." "Sounds like some humans," Ta said with a small smile. "All species have their good and bad members," Da replied. "The Vray leadership promotes taking rather than earning." By midnight, Ta had cleared nearly a quarter of Daz's massive body. Thousands of dead or dying barnacles filled the bins. Daz's breathing was easier now, and his voice stronger. "You should rest, human friend," Daz said. "You have done more in 3 hours than all the medical experts did in 3 days." Tay rubbed his tired eyes but shook his head. "These parasites are still draining you. I'll sleep when more are gone." He picked up his tools again, but stopped when he noticed something odd. The barnacles weren't placed randomly. In some areas, they formed patterns, almost like. "That's strange," Ta said, leaning closer with his magnifying glass. "What do you see?" Da asked. Tay's forehead wrinkled in concentration. "These barnacles, they're arranged in patterns, like circuit boards or computer chips." "What does that mean?" Ta looked up at Da's large, worried eyes. "It means these might not be just parasites. They might be devices." Morning light filtered through the workshop windows. Ta had worked through the night, stopping only for quick cups of coffee. His eyes were red, but his hands remained steady. "Look at this," he said, holding up one of the barnacles under a strong light. "This isn't a living thing. It's a machine." Day shifted his massive body to see better. Nearly half the parasites were now gone, and he could move more easily. "A machine, not a parasite." Ta shook his head. "It's both. The outside looks organic, but inside." He carefully cut the barnacle open with a small laser tool. "See these tiny parts? This is nanotechnology, very advanced." Inside the barnacle was a complex web of wires, thinner than a human hair. Tiny blinking lights still pulsed weakly. "I don't understand," Daz said. "If these are machines, who made them? And why?" Ty placed the cut barnacle on his scanner. "Let's find out." The scanner hummed as it analyzed the tiny device. Taz's computer screen filled with data. "This is incredible," he whispered. "Each barnacle has memory storage. They're collecting data." Data. About what? About you, I think. Your body. Maybe your thoughts. Ta pointed to different parts inside the barnacle. This part monitors body functions. This looks like it records brain activity. And this. He paused, frowning. This seems to be a transmitter. They're sending information somewhere. Day's voice was troubled. Ta nodded slowly. Someone put these on you not just to hurt you, but to study you, to steal information. He went back to the bins where thousands of removed barnacles lay. Looking closer now, he could see patterns in how they had been placed on Da's body. Look here, he said, pointing to Da's front leg where a line of barnacles formed a perfect curve. And here, another pattern appeared near Da's head. They're positioned over important body parts. Major blood vessels, nerve centers, brain areas. Day was silent for a long moment. The Vray. They must have done this. But why? What would they want with information about mock bodies? Tag connected several barnacles to his computer. Let's see if we can find out what they've recorded. His fingers flew over the keyboard as he tried to access the barnacle's memory. Most of the data was encrypted, but some was readable. These have been on you for 3 days, recording constantly, he said after a while. They've collected data on your physical strength, how your body uses energy, even how you communicate. He looked up at Da. Someone wants to know everything about your species. Day stomped one of his front legs in anger. The Vray have always been jealous of mock technology. Our ships can travel faster and farther than theirs. They must be trying to steal our secrets. Ta wasn't convinced. Maybe. But this feels bigger than industrial spying. He pointed to another section of data. These are recording brain patterns. That goes beyond learning about your technology. He disconnected the barnacles and went back to removing more from Da's body. As he worked, his mind raced with questions. Who would go to such lengths? Why target the Mock specifically? Da, he said after a while. Are there others from your species who were attacked like this? I don't know. I lost contact with my fleet after the attack. I had to make an emergency landing. Ta nodded and kept working. By mid-morning, he had cleared nearly 70% of Da's body. The alien looked much better, his purple fur shining in the sunlight from the windows. I need help with this, Ta finally said. I know someone who studies alien biology. Her name is G. She might understand these devices better than I do. Can she be trusted? Da asked. Yes, she's my oldest friend. And she's smart, smarter than me. Day considered this, then nodded his massive head. Call her, but be careful what you tell her. If someone is gathering information about my people, we don't know how far their reach extends. Jai arrived an hour later. She was short with black hair pulled back in a tight ponytail. Her eyes widened when she saw Da. You weren't joking, she said to Ta. That's a mock. They rarely come this far from the main trade routes. She walked slowly around Da, studying him with a scientist's careful eye. Hello, honored mock, she said with a small bow. I am G, cynobiologist at New Sewell Research Center. Greetings, G, Day replied. Your friend has saved my life. I hope you can help us understand why I was attacked. Ta showed G the barnacles he had removed. He explained how they were machines disguised as parasites. Jai examined them under her portable microscope. Amazing, she whispered. The outer shell is organic, but everything inside is mechanical. I've never seen technology like this. She connected one of the barnacles to her tablet. Her fingers moved quickly across the screen. The data is heavily protected, but I can see some of the transmission logs. These were sending information to. She frowned. That's odd. What is it? Tai asked. They're sending data to the belt, the asteroid belt in this system. Ta looked surprised. There's nothing in the belt except old mining stations. Most were abandoned years ago. Jay nodded. Exactly. But these signals are definitely going there. To Station K-12, specifically. Day shifted uneasily. I have heard other mock traders speak of problems near asteroid belts. Disappearances, strange signals. Tai and G looked at each other. Ta spoke first. We need to check this out. If someone is targeting mock traders, they might attack others. And they clearly have technology beyond what we've seen before. My ship is damaged, Dai said, but it can still fly. The engine core is intact. Ta thought for a moment. My repair shuttle is small, but it has good sensors. We could use that to approach the station quietly. Jai was already packing her equipment. I'll bring my scanner suite. If there's more of this technology there, I want to study it. This could be dangerous, Ta warned. We don't know what we're facing. Jai gave him a determined look. You called me for a reason. I'm not backing out now. They spent the next hour preparing. Ta removed the last of the barnacles from Da's body. The mock looked completely different now. Stronger, his purple fur bright and healthy. He stood tall on his 6 legs, no longer in pain. I am in your debt, human mechanic, Da said. My people value those who help without asking for reward. Friends help each other, Ta replied simply. Now we need to find out who did this to you. They loaded equipment onto Ta's repair shuttle. It was a small vessel, designed for fixing satellites and ship engines in space, but it had good shields and was hard to detect on scanners. The belt is 4 hours from here, Ta said as they prepared for launch. Station K-12 was a platinum mining operation. It closed down when the ore ran out. Perfect cover for a secret operation, G noted. No one would have reason to go there. Da had to crouch in the shuttle's cargo area. Even with the barnacles gone, he looked worried. There is something I should tell you, he said as Tai started the engines. Something about my people. Tai and G turned to listen. The mock are not just traders. We are guardians of a sort. We watch, we remember, we have been among the stars longer than most species. Guardians of what? G asked. Da's large eyes seemed to look at something far away. Of knowledge, of warnings, the barnacles. I think they were not just stealing information. I think they were suppressing memories. The shuttle lifted off from behind Ta's workshop. As they rose into the cloudy sky, Tai thought about Da's words. What kind of memories would someone want to suppress? He wondered aloud. The kind that could change everything, Dai answered softly. Ta's shuttle moved silently through the asteroid belt. Large rocks floated past them in the darkness of space. He kept the engines low to avoid detection. There it is, he said, pointing to a screen. Station K-12. The old mining station hung in space like a metal spider, its central hub connected to 6 long arms. Most of the lights were off, but a faint glow came from 2 sections. It's still using power, Jay noted, checking her scanner. Quite a lot of power for an abandoned station. Can you detect any ships? Dai asked from the cargo area. Tai checked another screen. Nothing showing on scanners, but they could be hidden on the far side. They approached slowly. Ta guided the shuttle to a small docking port on one of the dark arms of the station. We'll enter here, he explained. This leads to maintenance tunnels, less chance of being seen. The shuttle attached to the station with a soft clunk. Ta checked that everyone had breathing masks in case the air was bad. Then he opened the hatch. The maintenance tunnel was dark and dusty. They moved in single file. Ta first with a light, then G with her scanner, and Da last. The mock moved surprisingly quietly for his size. Life signs ahead, Jay whispered, looking at her scanner. One person in the central hub. They followed the tunnel until they reached a door. Ta listened carefully before opening it a crack. Beyond was a large control room filled with equipment. Most of it looked new, not like the old mining gear. A man sat at a console in the center of the room. He wore a simple gray uniform with no markings. He was typing quickly, focused on his screens. Tai signaled to the others to wait, then slipped into the room. He moved from shadow to shadow until he was behind the man. Then he stepped forward. Don't move, Ta said firmly. The man froze, then slowly raised his hands. I was wondering when someone would come, he said calmly. Though I didn't expect a mechanic, a scientist, and a mock. He turned around. He had a thin face and cold eyes. He didn't look surprised or scared. My name is Juan, he said. I work for Stellar Dynamics. Jig gasped. The mega corporation. What are they doing here? Juan smiled without warmth. What businesses always do. Finding advantages. Creating opportunities. Day moved forward, his large form making Juan look small. You attacked my ship. You infected me with your machines. Not just you, Juan replied. Dozens of mock traders, all carrying valuable data in their bodies and minds. Ta stepped closer. Why? What do you want from them? Information is power, Juan said simply. The mock have traded across the galaxy for thousands of years. They know routes, resources, technologies that humans haven't discovered yet. He pointed to a screen showing data flows. Our Barnacle program has collected more trade secrets in 3 months than our spies gathered in 20 years. Jai looked disgusted. You're hurting innocent beings for corporate profit. Juan shrugged. Stellar Dynamics doesn't see it that way. The Barnacles don't kill. They just borrow information. They were killing me, Dag growled, and suppressing my memories. A side effect, Juan admitted. We're still perfecting the technology. He looked at Ta with new interest. How did you remove them? Our tests showed that was impossible without special equipment. Ta didn't answer. He was looking at the other screens around the room. They showed maps of trade routes, star systems, and what looked like designs for ships. You're stealing more than trade secrets, he said. You're mapping the entire mock network. Juan's face hardened. That's enough talking. He pressed a button on his wrist. Alarms blared through the station. Metal doors slid down over the exits. Security protocols activated, said a computerized voice. Containment in progress. You won't be leaving, Juan said, stepping back toward another console. But don't worry. The company will find your research very valuable, especially you, Jai. And the mock. Well, we have special plans for him. Ta looked at the sealed doors, then at his friends. We'll see about that, he said. Red warning lights flashed throughout the station. Juan moved toward a door at the back of the control room. You have about 20 minutes before security drones arrive, he said with a cold smile. Enjoy your stay. As Juan reached for the door controls, Da moved with surprising speed for his size. He charged across the room, his 6 legs thundering on the metal floor. Before Juan could react, Da blocked his path. You will not leave, Da said, his deep voice echoing in the chamber. Juan's face showed fear for the first time. He reached for a weapon at his belt, but Tai was faster. He grabbed a wrench from his tool belt and knocked the weapon away. Gee, check the computer. Find a way to stop the security alert, Ta said, picking up Juan's weapon. And you, he said to Juan, are going to tell us everything. Jai rushed to the main console while Ta guarded Juan. Dai stood watching, his large eyes fixed on the human from Stellar Dynamics. You don't understand what you're interfering with, Juan said. This is bigger than just corporate profit. Explain, Ta demanded. Juan looked at Da, then back to Ta. The mock are not what they seem. They're hiding something. Something big. Da stomped one massive foot. We hide nothing. We protect. Protect what? Tai asked, turning to Da. For a moment, Da was silent. Then he seemed to make a decision. The Barnacles did more than steal information, he said quietly. They blocked my access to ancestral memory. Now that they are gone, I remember what I am. And what is that? Ji asked, looking up from the console. The mock are guardians, Daz said. 5,000 years ago, our ancestors found something in deep space, something old and dangerous, a sleeping enemy that had nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy once before. The room was silent except for the blaring alarms. We chose to watch, Da continued. To guard. To remember. We spread across the stars, trading yes, but always watching, always remembering. The Ancient Ones, Juan said, his voice suddenly respectful. That's what stellar dynamics calls them. We found references in old star charts. Warnings. Ta looked confused. What does this have to do with attacking mock ships? Juan laughed bitterly. The company started looking for technology, any edge over competitors. But what they found were fragments of a warning about these Ancient Ones. They became obsessed. They think the mock are hiding technology from the Ancient Ones. We hide nothing, Day said again. We remember. We watch. The technology was destroyed long ago. It was too dangerous. Jai called from the console. I stopped the security alert, but I found something else. Her face was pale. There are records here of dozens of mock ships attacked with barnacle devices. And data. So much data being collected and sent somewhere else. Where? Tai asked. Not to stellar dynamics, Ji said, looking confused. To another system entirely. One I've never heard of. Juan looked surprised. That's not possible. All data comes to company headquarters. Day moved closer to the screen. Show me. Jay pointed to a star map with a blinking point far from any known colony. That is in the dark region, Day said quietly. Where no ships go. Where the Ancient Ones sleep. The room was silent as everyone processed this information. Someone is using stellar dynamics. Ta said slowly. Using you to gather information about the mock. About these Ancient Ones. Juan's face had lost all color. That's not possible. The company controls everything. The company is being controlled, Jai said, still typing. Look at these communication logs. Orders coming from this unknown location, disguised as corporate directives. Daz's massive body seemed to grow larger. Now I understand. The Barnacles were not just stealing information. They were looking for something specific. The location. What location? Tai asked. Where they sleep, Daz said simply. The Ancient Ones have servants, followers who wait for their return. They have searched for thousands of years for where the mock hid them. Ta looked at his alien friend with new eyes. The simple trader was something much more. A guardian of ancient knowledge, a protector of the galaxy. And now, because I removed the barnacles, Ta began. My memories have returned, Dai finished. What the followers of the Ancient Ones did not understand is that we mock do not keep records of the location. We carry it within us, passed from generation to generation. But it is locked away, protected. And the Barnacles were trying to unlock it, Ji said quietly. Day nodded his massive head. Yes, but they would have failed. Because the location is not in one mock, but in all of us. Each carries a piece of the map, unknown even to ourselves. We need to warn others, Ta said, moving to the communications console. If these followers are using stellar dynamics, who knows how far this goes? Ji nodded. I'm downloading all the data as evidence. No one would believe us without proof. Juan sat quietly in the corner, his face showing confusion and fear. I was told we were advancing human interests, he said softly. I didn't know. Day moved closer to Ta. Your help has done more than save one mock, human mechanic. You have possibly saved many worlds. Ta looked up from the console. By removing those barnacles, I was just doing what I know how to do. And that is why humans are special, Daz said. You see problems differently. The doctors tried to cut the barnacles out. They saw a biological problem. You saw a mechanical one. G finished downloading the data to a small drive. All ships in the sector need to be warned about these barnacle weapons, and the colony governor needs to know about stellar dynamics. There's more, Daz said. With my memories returned, I can call my people. The mock have hidden ships, warriors that have waited for this day. Wait, Ta said, looking confused. You're traders, but also warriors. Day made a sound that might have been a laugh. We are whatever we need to be to protect the stars. For centuries, we watched and traded, but we always prepared for the day when the Ancient Ones might wake. Tai sent emergency messages to New Sol Colony and to the Space Authority. Then he checked the station's sensors. We should leave soon. More ships might come. They gathered what evidence they could and took Juan with them. The walk back to Ta's shuttle was tense, but they met no resistance. Once they were safely away from the station, Day asked Ta to set course for open space. I need to send a signal to my fleet, he explained. It must be done away from the colony. 2 hours later, they floated in empty space. Daz stood in the cargo area, his eyes closed in concentration. A low humming sound came from somewhere inside his massive body. He's calling his people, Jig whispered to Ta. Some kind of biological transmitter. Ta watched in amazement. The simple trader he had helped in his workshop was now something much more powerful and mysterious. After several minutes, Dai opened his eyes. They come, he said simply. They didn't have to wait long. Space seemed to ripple, and then 3 massive ships appeared. They were unlike any ships Tai had seen before. They looked almost alive, with smooth purple hulls that resembled Dai's skin. Mock battleships, Dai explained, hidden for centuries, waiting. A voice came through the shuttle's communication system. It spoke in a language Ta didn't understand, but Day answered in the same tongue. I have told them everything, Day said to the humans. About the Barnacles, the station, and most importantly, about you. What about us? G asked. How a human mechanic saw what alien doctors could not. How humans think differently, with a unique mix of mechanical and biological understanding. One of the large ships moved closer. A beam of light scanned their small shuttle. My people wish to meet you, Day said. The High Council has made a decision. Humans will be offered an alliance with the Mach. Alliance? For what? Tai asked. The Ancient Ones will wake someday. When they do, the galaxy will need every advantage. Human thinking. Your way of seeing problems from new angles. This could be the difference between survival and extinction. The shuttle's communication screen activated. A Mach face appeared, older than Daz, with white fur around the eyes. Human mechanic Ta, the Mach said in perfect human language. You have done our people a great service. But more importantly, you have shown us that humanity has unique gifts. We would be honored to form an alliance with your species. Ta looked at Jai, then back at the screen. He was just a mechanic from a small colony. Yet here he was, speaking for all humanity. I think that would be good, he said simply. We all have different ways of seeing problems. Together, we might see solutions none of us could find alone. The old Mach nodded. Wise words. The Mach fleet approaches Earth now with our offer. A new age begins, thanks to one mechanic who saw what others did not. Ta looked out at the stars. Yesterday, he had been fixing engines in his small shop. Today, he had helped change the future of humanity. All because he had seen a problem differently. What happens now? He asked Da. Now, Day replied. We prepare. Together.